We have a lot of fun on Patreon. Join us there. You could also make a few bucks. 16-4 against the spread last week on my top 25 predictions. So please join us there. Watch parties, exclusive live streams per request, and insider information here at the Voice of College Football. Justin Rose on the line to talk Michigan with a trip to Wisconsin. In regards to this matchup with the Badgers, obviously they have been one of the prime contenders in the Big Ten. We've only seen them play once this year. Depending on their quarterback situation, I would still evaluate them to be the best team in the West. So Michigan at 1-2 is on treacherous ground to really start to catapult toward a ugly record here in 2020. It's going to be a difficult one at the Big House. They don't have the dominant back that they've had. Again, I haven't heard any definitive word about the quarterback situation. Danny Vandenboom would be the fourth guy. Graham Mertz, obviously, was the guy in line after Jack Cohn went down with an injury. Your thoughts about the Badgers, who bring back a load of talent on defense?
Yeah, I think that's the first thing that jumps out to me is no matter what's going on the offensive side of the ball at the quarterback position for Wisconsin, that defense is still pretty damn good, right? And so I think that Michigan's offensive line is really going to struggle. If they struggle against Michigan State and Indiana's defense, and nothing to take away from their defenses, but I don't believe that those two defenses are on the same level as Wisconsin. I think Michigan's offensive line is going to struggle probably even worse than they have. Getting that run game going and then making Joe Milton comfortable and in the pocket to make sure that he can get some passes off. I think that's where I see the big problems for Michigan in this game. And then depending on what happens on offense for Wisconsin, who's at quarterback, we don't know if it's Graham Mertz or Vandenboom, but I still believe they're going to employ the exact same thing that Indiana and Michigan State have, which is make sure you protect that guy in the backfield and then let him throw out and challenge those corners. So it's starting to feel like Groundhog Day here, but we keep saying the same thing about challenging those corners, and it keeps happening. So I don't see any reason for Wisconsin to do anything different. And if you're talking about Graham Mertz being back, if he is able to play on Saturday, and it is a night game, so maybe they kind of finagle that to be an extra couple hours or day that he's able to quarantine or whatever you want to call it. Graham Mertz could have a field day with this secondary, so it could get ugly quickly for Michigan. But what's interesting to me is Michigan opened up with a spread of -3. They were favored. They are favored in this game already. So I think Vegas is taking a look at this as nobody knows what Wisconsin's going to come out. They haven't practiced. They haven't played. Nobody's really sure. They've only seen one game against Illinois. And so it'll be interesting to see. But even with Wisconsin not playing much, I still don't have a ton of confidence on either side of the ball for Michigan here in this matchup on prime time in the Big House.
Paul Chryst' comment at his news conference on Monday is, quote, he's starting the process of coming back, alluding to Mertz. His tests are all done. I think he'll be able to have some practice. We'll see if it's enough practice time. You don't know that. Each guy is different, so forth and so on. So very non-committal out of Paul Chryst, but I got to think if Graham Mertz is able to play, he's going to play. 5 touchdown passes, 20 for 21 against Illinois, and that backed up what everyone thought of him coming into the process. So Michigan and Wisconsin, this offensive line. So when you rewatched the game and now maybe no Ryan Hayes, no Jalen Mayfield for sure, they got to get the run game going. And like I mentioned off the top, Charbonnet and Haskins' productive seasons last year. I don't know how much would be the backs versus the offensive line versus the play calling possibly.
Yeah, and I'll start with the play calling is we saw Josh Gaddis try to run inside zone a lot versus Michigan State and have nearly zero success. And then Michigan comes out against Indiana, and the first play of the game is an inside zone for -1 yards. And so I'm sure for Michigan fans out there, that was pretty frustrating to see. And they ran it again and again, and it wasn't nearly as much as versus Michigan State, but it still didn't have any success. And so I think that Michigan fans are hoping to have Josh Gaddis get a little bit more creative, get his running backs out there in space. What I would like to see from that running back room is, I know it's talented. It's 4 deep, right? And so you got a lot of talented guys, but I don't think it's easy for these guys to get in a rhythm if you've got that many guys rotating in. Hassan Haskins, who arguably has been their leading rusher and best running back in 2021, maybe even in 2020, didn't get a carry until the second quarter on Saturday. So I don't think it's easy for a guy to warm up, get ready to go, and then sit on the sideline for 30 minutes in that first quarter, and then try and get a feel for the game and get hyped up and get ready to go to make some moves on offense. So I would hope to see that Josh Gaddis maybe get 2 guys in a rotation, go with them, deal with the other guys being pissed off about not playing, and then just kind of go with it, because what he's doing right now is not working. Again, that offensive line is going to struggle, but I think that they can use Ben Mason if they want to in some different ways and be unique about how they block, instead of just trying to go overpower the other team and go one-on-one there. Use like we talked about when they went against Minnesota, they did some trap blocks and things like that. One thing I was really intrigued by and impressed was Joe Milton in the third quarter on Saturday, third and early into the fourth, before he threw that final interception, or final 2 interceptions, he was moving the ball. He got the ball to Ronnie Bell. He looked more comfortable. He hit a deep ball. He had one deep ball that should have been a touchdown, and he overthrew him again. And unfortunately, he didn't connect with Roman Wilson on that one either. But I think that he's starting to feel more comfortable and get into a rhythm. And if Michigan does have to throw the ball 45 times in a game to win, I think he's feeling like, okay, I can do that now. Whereas against Michigan State, they were not ready for that one bit. And that was why they struggled so much, because he wasn't ready to throw the ball 50 times, which is what he did. So I think that going forward, they're going to keep doing that, and because that's going to be their only option, and he's going to feel more comfortable throwing the ball and start slinging it. And I believe that he's going to start connecting on more of those deep balls that could help them win the games, because that's what's happened against Michigan, is they've lost the game nearly on all deep balls or 20-yard passes.